What's up, guys? My name is Michał, and I thought I'd start the channel off by starting with an interesting topic, which would be champ versus champ matchups. Now, I pretty much included in here everything that people have talked about at some point that is in any way realistic. There is two matchups between champions that are at least like two divisions apart, which is pretty interesting. So, if you want to see which ones those are, look in the timestamps. If not, be patient. And we also got one women's matchup because, I'm not going to pretend I care about Juliana Pena. So let's start with Alexandre Pantoja versus Merab Dvalishvili. I'm going to go with Merab. I feel like these guys are, in a way, pretty similar as far as style goes. I mean, both are marauders, pretty decently well-rounded. I feel like Alexandre is a bit of a better striker, but at the same time actually having insane cardio the way Merab does. So I feel like over the course of 5 rounds, Merab could potentially start to wear on Pantoja, especially since he's the bigger guy, which is not usually the case. So I feel like we could really see that playing a part, because like usually Merab is the smaller guy in his fights, but this time I feel like on top of his cardio and physicality and wrestling skill, to use that physical strength, I feel like it could really play in his favor. And I would not be surprised if Alexandra Pantoja won this fight. But I do think that Merab, for these reasons, is at a slight advantage. I also think that this fight should happen next. I mean, both guys are running out of contenders. I mean, I'm not gonna fucking lie. I don't give a fuck about a rematch with O'Malley. The same thing's gonna happen again. I don't really give a shit about a rematch with Jan, because if you're going to lose in split decisions, to lose in a 50-45, which was pretty clear, then that means that it's a style that causes you a lot of problems, dude. I mean, he literally gave Jan fucking PTSD after the fight, dude. He was putting his hands up when Merab tried to shake his hand. That's fucking crazy, dude. Not to disrespect Jan, but I don't see an upset happening there. So I think this is the fight to make. And I think this is like one of the better champ versus champ matchups that are actually that actually could like really realistically happen, right? So my pick would be Merab by decision, obviously. Going next, we've got bantamweight versus featherweight, Merab versus Ilya. Now, obviously, this fight is never gonna fucking happen because these guys are friends. They train together. They're like almost family, right? So this is only hypothetical, but like this is a pretty interesting matchup. I mean, I think Ilya would win this just because I feel like he's skillful enough to neutralize the pace of Merab more so than Umar, for the simple reason that he is a way better boxer than both Merab and Umar. He's the best boxer in the UFC in my opinion. And every time Merab got rocked in his recent fights against, Moraes not that recent anymore, but still, both Moraes and Henry, I believe Moraes too, but they rocked him with a punch. And as we know, Umar is more of a kicker. So I feel like for that reason, there's more chances for Ilya to chin Merab. And while I do think he will win, I think Merab could potentially pose the threat of, well, not necessarily a threat, but the problem of making Ilya constantly reset, like constantly, shooting these takedown attempts. I feel like it would be harder for Ilya to look for those knockout punches. So while I think that Merab has a solid chance of winning this fight, there is just no way that Ilya is not going to chin you across 25 rounds. I don't care how much takedowns you attempt. It's hard to avoid from a guy like Ilya, especially since these guys know each other. Like, Merab knows what Ilya is capable of. The same goes for the other way around. But I just think that it's impossible that Ilya doesn't land a clean shot on Merab's chin across 25 rounds. So my pick would be Ilya by KO or decision. Highly likely KO. This is, by the way, my second time recording this shit because my mic didn't work, so I apologize if my voice can get a bit raspy as the video goes on. Anyways, we've got one of the bigger matchups, Ilya Topuria versus Islam Makhachev, which is a fight that I would love to see happen next. I know that Ilya only has one title defense, But I mean, Conor McGregor had none. Izzy had only two, by the way. Most of his title reign at middleweight happened after he lost to Blachowicz and moved back down. So in this matchup, man, I feel like out of all these in this entire video, this is as 50-50 as it gets. I really do, man. I think that Ilya Topuria could potentially knock out Islam Makhachev, and I would honestly pick him to do so in this fight. It might be a very risky pick, but I just think that with the way Islam has been fighting recently, I mean, he went to fucking war with Poirier. He went to war with Volkanovski, who was a featherweight, by the way, and Volkanovski is arguably his best win. So the argument that he just beat another featherweight is just fucking dumb. Like, Ilya's great. He's better than most top 15 lightweights. Like, are you gonna tell me that fucking Renato Moicano is a better win than Ilya? Come on, bro. Come on. This fight should happen. In my opinion, these two guys are the number one and number two pound for pound best fighters in the world right now. And to let something like this slip away would be a massive loss for the UFC. Both legacy and, money wise. So I feel like Ilya is a better wrestler than Volk. And I think he could utilize that skill to make that of Makhachev less threatening. I don't think a submission from either side would happen in this fight. I feel like Islam would only have a grappling advantage due to his size, because Ilya is a really good wrestler as well. So I think this fight would primarily be a stand-up fight. And man, same as a potential fight with Marab. I just don't think you can go 25 minutes with Ilya without getting chinned. And if you're getting hit by Volkanovski, pretty much knocked down by Volkanovski, and getting split open by Dustin Poirier, man, Ilya's going to cause damage. That is for sure. And I would honestly pick him to win this fight. Either 48-47 or KO, because I do think it would take him a while to get going, really. I feel like the first two rounds Ilya could even lose. But I think if anyone beats Islam right now, it's Ilya. And this fight it needs to happen, bro. All the arguments that Ilya needs to wait, that Makhachev needs to fight a lightweight. Who? Bro, Justin Gaethje? Yeah, because he's gonna fucking win. It's not like the Justin Gaethje is about to go to war with fucking Dan Hooker. I really don't think the fight is going to be... I think that's going to be a war. I feel like Justin Gaethje is on the decline, and he's not going to be the same way he was. I think Gaethje peaked at the KO of Poirier for the BMF belt. And I think that he's not at a stage in his career where he could pose a threat to a guy like Makhachev. So I think Ilya is the way to go. And I do think that Ilya will be the hardest fight of Islam Makhachev's life. And I do think that if Islam wins, it will be his biggest win. So I think Islam could very well just outmuscle and outskill Ilya at the same time. But Ilya could very well win this as well. And my pick would be Ilya. I might be a bit delusional, bro. I honestly don't really even have a great explanation, but besides what I've said already. But I do think Ilya definitely has what it takes, and it's a matter of whether he can utilize it against Islam's skill. But I'm leaning Ilya on this one. Moving on, Ilya Topuria versus Belal Muhammad. You might be like, Micha, what the fuck is this shit, dude? And the only reason I'm really mentioning this is because Ilya in interviews said that he does want to become a three division weight champion, which would mean fighting Belal. And I feel like Belal Muhammad is not, besides pressure and volume striking, he doesn't really have anything that's better in any way than Islam's skill set. So I feel like this is actually an easier fight for Topuria than Islam would be. I feel like Ilya could potentially cause some damage to to Belal by a counter punch maybe or something. I feel like he'd be able to pretty decently utilize his Greco-Roman background to try to avoid takedowns. So I think this would also be primarily a stand-up battle. But I do think Belal would definitely try to take him down because it would be stupid of him not to even try. But if the fight would end up being primarily stand-up, which there's a high chance of that, I think Topuria could clip him, man. Like if like, don't get me wrong, man. Belal was very impressive against Leon last time. But Leon has no fucking sense of urgency, okay? I do believe that if Leon wanted to, he would have won that fight. But he has just no dog in him, man. Like, I feel like the second the coach started yelling at him and trying to have his fucking second Rocky moment, I feel like Leon lost all his motivation. Which suddenly came back in the last fucking 10 seconds. In which he fucking smashed Belal's face to the ground with elbows and cut him open. If he only did that earlier, he could have even maybe finished Merab. And I'm not trying to like glaze Leon or anything because I don't even fucking like him. But when you look at it that way, I feel like Ilya, as far as skill goes and mindset goes, he could really outdo Belal in certain ways. And I do think he could KO him. So I would go with Ilya by KO. Maybe not decision because Belal is the ultimate fucking decisionator, but yeah, I think Ilya would probably fucking hurt him, man. Maybe a TKO or like a doctor stoppage or something. Nah, bro, I'm pushing it. Probably just a KO, yeah. Ilya by KO, yeah. I'm not gonna keep on yapping. Okay, let's go. Next up, we've got fucking Islam Makhachev versus Belal Muhammad, which is a fight that is right now more likely to happen. Because I feel like, I don't feel like, I heard there was like some kind of altercation, verbal altercation in Islam's camp between these two. So they could potentially fight, and I feel like they were open to fighting, despite being buddies. And I feel like, same way with Ilya, man. Belal is not, besides the volume, he's not better in any way than Makhachev. I feel like Makhachev has just a better mix of the martial arts. Fucking, I don't know how to call it, but he can just mix it well better. I feel like his technique is more on point in boxing, and I feel like his grappling is more advanced both technically and as far as like versatility goes, to the point where the only way he could like lose rounds is by inactivity, because I feel like pace is the key for Belal to winning this fight. But I would pick Islam for those reasons. Man, there's not that much to talk about here, but I just don't think that Belal will be able to get away as much as he did with against Leon, against somebody who actually has a fucking will to win. And I'm not trying to discredit Belal, but when you look at Leon Edwards' like title reign, what fucking split decision, unanimous decision, and the second he got taken down by Colby, he fucking stayed down there the whole round. And then fucking pure domination by Belal Muhammad. And the second he actually starts trying to win, he's having a lot of success. So I feel like Islam, obviously he's the better finisher. And I feel like he could even like ground and pound Belal Muhammad, which is something that, fucking Leon Scott couldn't do. Bruv, I couldn't finish the fight, bro. I woke up too early, bruv. I'm fucking tired, dude. I was yapping for fucking half an hour to realize my mic wasn't on. But anyway, Islam beats this fucking guy, sends him back to Chicago, and yeah, let's move on. We got next Islam Makhachev versus Dricus Plessis, because apparently this is a fight that people are talking about. This is a fight that exists in people's minds. And I feel like the outcome is pretty clear. I feel like Du Plessis is way too fucking big, way too strong. And that is a factor that Du Plessis being a good grappler as well, I feel like he's going to completely neutralize, maybe not completely, but like 85% neutralize with his Makhachev's best attribute, which is grappling. And if this fight is a stand-up fight, then Makhachev is going to get his fucking nose broken like Du Plessis just fucking broke Strickland's 10 hours ago. So, yeah, I think Du Plessis would just way too much power for Makhachev. I feel like at this point, this is where the glazing gets too crazy. And this is just too big of a gap, man. I know both these guys are big for the weight class, but Islam does not have sensational power like Topuria. He does not, like, especially if you're fighting a guy as strong as Drake is. Drake is probably the most physically strong middleweight on the roster. So I just feel like Duplessis, everywhere where there's a skill gap in Islam's advantage, Duplessis can just like outmuscle his way through that kind of issue. So I would pick Drakus to win this fight by decision, or maybe even TKO, depending on how much impact his punches have on Makhachev. But no, I feel like at this point people are like overestimating Makhachev. Like Makhachev said that he could, like, if he were to go to light heavyweight, that would be too much for him. Duplessis is pretty much a fucking light heavyweight. I feel like this is already too much. I think that he should just fight Bilal if he's in any way open and avoid this. Because this is like, he said he's got keys to victory. He didn't seem too confident, you know? But I feel like with Dricus' pressure on top of that physicality, I think Islam would just be overwhelmed. There's only so much you can do with any kind of skill if someone's that much bigger and that fucking weird. Dricus drops the piano on him in fucking round 6. That's my prediction. Oh, we got fucking Bilal versus Dricus. Dude, I really want to skip this one, but I put it here. And I think Dricus wins. I feel like Bilal is a less awkward, less powerful, smaller Dricus Duplessis. Pressure striking, mixing and grappling when it's effective. But I feel like with a will to win like that of Duplessis, like fucking Edwards actually tries to finish fights. Yeah, man, this video is just turning into a fucking Leon Scott hate fest. Which he deserves, because he's fucking lame. And he only tries in the last 10 seconds, dude. Literally fucking English Cheeto Vera. Yeah, dude. Dricus out-pressures him. I feel like the pressure would be even more effective given his size. And I feel like, well, also Bilal would not be able to mix in the wrestling. Because, I mean, same reason as Makhachev. He's probably even weaker physically than Makhachev. I mean, he did lift Leon up, but Leon is, like, far inferior to both, I feel like, Duplessis and Makhachev in terms of like wrestling skill and takedown defense. He did take down Usman that one time, but he also got dominated the rest of that fight. So I feel like Duplessis wins this pretty comfortably. I feel like the styles don't really differ too much, and the differences that are present are in favor of Dricus. So yeah, I would pick Dricus by probably decision or TKO. Oh, this is a fight that is pretty interesting. Duplessis versus Pereira is a fight that is already being talked about. I feel like this should happen if Dricus beats Hamzat, which is the fight that I think should happen next. I feel like in the meantime, Imavov should fight Kaio. I feel like that would be a very interesting matchup, even though Imavov kind of already deserves it. But next in line is Hamzat. And, like, why would you wait so long? Like, Hamzat is gonna fight in, like, what? Fucking October or something? Like, Dricus needs time off, right? So, it's gonna be, like, at least half a year before that fight happens. Let's be honest. So, going back to this matchup, fuck, man. Dricus is a bit more well-rounded. I feel like his awkwardness and his blitzes could potentially be even a problem for Alex on the feet. Because looking at his fight with Roundtree, he was having problems in the striking. And I did not expect that. I thought it would be a pretty dominant victory for Alex, but it ended up being his most difficult title defense. So for Dricus to do that and mix in the wrestling, I feel like he has a solid chance of winning. I don't know if he's going to submit Pereira just because of the size difference. And I know Duplessis is pretty big, so I'm definitely not like counting that option out. I do think that Dricus with the right approach could maybe even submit Pereira. But overall, this fight is also like pretty close. Alex Pereira could very well knock Dricus out, but I feel like the awkwardness that Dricus presents would be problematic in terms of picking his shots by Alex. So if I were to predict this fight, I feel like I would pick Dricus by like a 48-47 decision or a submission in the later rounds after like wearing off Alex a bit and actually getting to take him down, because I feel like from there he has just a lot of strength that he can work with more so than like in the clinch and trying to take him down like anywhere in the cage. So if Alex beats him, it's like middle rounds TKO or something. But I do think Dricus gets this one done. Not very confident in this pick, but I do think he has a solid chance. So I'm gonna go with Dricus. Oh, last fights, plural, on the men's roster. Alex Pereira versus Tom Aspinall or John Jones. I don't want to talk about this too much because I feel like both these fights would end in the same way. Both Tom Aspinall and John Jones would submit this guy in the first round. I feel like John Jones wouldn't even try to strike with Pereira. He would try to get to his legs as soon as possible. And he would take him down and probably would look similarly to his fight with Gon. Tom Aspinall would probably do the same. There's a slightly higher chance of Tom Aspinall getting chinned, but I feel like if you can take a big punch from Sergey Pavlovich, pre-losing streak Sergey Pavlovich, then you can definitely take like a one not too powerful punch from Alex Pereira. So I do think that no matter which heavyweight champion, true or fucking fake, Mr. fucking Jones, no matter which guy he fights, I think he loses. It would be still exciting because there's a huge name value no matter which matchup would happen. But I do think like hardcore fans would not be very excited by this because the outcome is pretty obvious. I feel like specific skills in terms of these fights, this is the biggest gap in wrestling and grappling skills between like any champions. This is fucking like this would not even be close if it got to grappling. Alex's only chance to win either fight is a knockout. He loses a decision because grappling would be involved, and if he gets like too lousy on the ground, he's gonna get submitted by either guy. If like Błachowicz almost locked the choke in on Pereira, imagine what these two guys would do. Like, come on now. I don't fucking like Jones at all, but I think he wins this. And that's the fucking reason he wanted this fight. That's the reason he didn't say a word about Aspinall, unless people made him. And he wanted to fight Pereira, because he's got legacy. We're the same age. Fucking dude was 27 when he fought a 35-year-old fucking DC dude. Who was like fucking 10 meters shorter than him. Anyway, yeah, pretty obvious outcome. I would still watch this fight, but the outcome is pretty obvious. I don't want to repeat myself, dude. Both Tom and John by submission, round one. And last, and well, kind of the fucking least, Zhang Weili versus Valentina Shevchenko. I'm not going to pretend to care about Juliana Pena, so we're just going to talk about this one. I think Weili gets this done. I feel like she's aging way better than Shevchenko. And I think that she will get this fight done by decision. I feel like Shevchenko is becoming much slower and much less confident in her skill against a not so confident either Alexa Grasso in their last fight. I feel like she lacked spirit that whole time. And despite that fact, Valentina Shevchenko still resorted to fucking hugging. Was not effective fucking wrestling. Hardly any ground and pound. Just straight up fucking laying on the ground. The fight was boring as fuck. Very lackluster. And I feel like if Weili, Weili is a very strong strawweight. I feel like she possesses traits that combine together, that being, speed, still being really in a really good shape at age 35 already, I think, right now. And the physical strength. I feel like she has everything it takes to beat way past her prime Shevchenko. And I would pick her to win this fight by decision. I feel like it would mostly happen in the striking, but I do think she could potentially... I mean, either woman could take the other one to the ground, but I just think it would primarily be Shevchenko trying to take her down and Weili defending. So I feel like it would be a decently one-sided battle on the feed for Weili. I would pick her by probably like a 49-46 decision, maybe even 50-45. Oh, Jesus Christ. Fucking Pena, dude. I'd honestly prefer Raquel Pennington as a champion. She's a boxer, because at least there's that. I mean, not the most skilled one, because, you know, women's bantamweight. But anyway, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If anybody fucking watches this shit, because this channel is new, let me know in the comments what you would like to see next, obviously, apart from prediction videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a good fucking night, day, or whenever you're watching. See ya.